Hey, Holly. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Hello, Izzy. You look so pretty today.
So do you. So, are you excited for our session today at the Scottish Summit?
I am so excited. I woke up this morning and actually thought I get a chance to do my hair and makeup and put on real clothes today.
Yeah, of course, with all the working from home, we've been spending a lot of time in our yoga pants. So,
Yes.
yeah, I'm happy I got to get my light on purple, get ready for the session, and of course, present for the community. So yeah, shall we get going to our session?
Let's do it.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our session at the Scottish Summit 2021. We are very excited to host a session for you, so let's get going. So first of all, make sure you get active with all of us on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, Instagram, whichever social media platform you're using, and that you make sure that you're using hashtag Scottish Summit 2021. And yeah, we're looking forward to all your tweets coming up.
Well, we all know that events cannot happen without our amazing sponsors. So I just want to take a quick minute and say thank you to Scriptrunner, DQ Global, Proximo, Redspire, Agilis, and Hitachi Solutions. You guys are the ones that are making all of this possible for us virtually and in person. We are so grateful for all that you're doing.
Absolutely. So thank you to the sponsors for supporting the event. And with that, of course, also our session. So before we get into the content, we would like to quickly introduce ourselves, who we are, where we're from, what we do. So let's head over to Seattle, USA to hear from Holly.
Hi, everyone. It is so nice to be a part of this special event. I would love to be there in person, but we are going to do this virtually. So thank you for joining me in Redmond, Washington. A little bit about myself, kind of a fun journey. I am actually a Las Vegas native. We are here. We are real. A lot of people think that people aren't actually born and raised in Vegas, but we are. I was running around hotels since I was a little girl. I have a huge passion around hospitality and really bringing people together. So my passion has changed from hospitality to community. My background, like I said, is hospitality. So I am not a techie. I am learning how to be one and grabbing my passion with Azure every single day. But I like to encourage people who do not have a tech background to know that you can have a tech career and use your skills that maybe others that are techie don't have. So it's been fun. Microsoft has given me a wonderful career opportunity. I have now been at Microsoft a little over 8 years, and it's been a fun journey. On a personal note, I am a mom, I say, of 3. I have 2 little girls that are beautiful. They are 7 and 9. They are homeschooling, so that's a very fun experience. And then I have my sweet little pup who's gotten me through this crazy COVID world. I am so thankful for my entire family and supportive husband. So that's a little bit about me. Izzy?
Thanks, Holly, for the introduction. All right, so I'm based in a little village in the north of Switzerland, where I live now a little bit over 3 years. And before that, I grew up in the lovely city of Amsterdam in the Netherlands. However, I'm born in former Yugoslavia. So I've been living in 3 countries. And since we are presenting at the Scottish Summit, I thought it's worth to mention I've been to Scotland actually once. I love to play the game Scotland Yard. And in case you were wondering at this event, no, I still did not get my 2 cats. So that's still a goal we're aiming for this year. Right, Holly?
We're working on it. We're working on it. Thomas, if you're listening, we need 2 cats, 2, not
Indeed.
just 1.
So yeah, so a little bit more about me, as you might have seen on the previous slide. So I recently have been awarded with the Microsoft MVP Award. I am literally with my head in the cloud and heart in the community. I really love all the community activities we're doing together with Holly, as well as in the past 10 years. I did on my own together with the help of lots of amazing people out there where I got to organize conferences, attend conferences, mainly focused on Microsoft Cloud, data center, security, modern workplace technologies. And it's absolutely my passion to bring all that expertise and knowledge and all the lessons learned into the session that Holly and I will present for you today. So let's get going. How did our journey start? Where did we begin? I would like to head over to Holly to tell you our story.
So I think it is a hilarious story of laughter and love and passion for community. If you remember, Izzy, we did a funny little TikTok video just to make people laugh. We thought it would be funny, and it was a lot of dancing and laughter. And then we thought we would bring others along the journey with us, where if you haven't seen the podcast with Patch and Switch, I would highly encourage you to watch this podcast. It's a tech podcast, but it's a chat. It's a chat with your friend, and it's hilarious. It's run by Rick and Joey Snow, and Rick Klaus and Joey Snow. They're hilarious, and so we put that out there. We still don't have them giving a dance back, but you know what? It was okay. As soon as we did this post, within minutes, it was over 1,000 views, and people were laughing with us or at us. But you know what? We got people laughing in this crazy time that we're, trying to inspire people for happiness. And we thought, hold on, we're onto something. We're making people laugh. We're bringing people together. So I went to send a few tweets to Izzy, got nervous that she might say no, and deleted them. Finally got the guts to send a tweet or a post to Izzy and said, hey, what would you think about taking our passion together and doing a video series once a month where we highlight people in the tech community and showcase all the amazing work that these incredible humans are doing behind the scenes? And lucky for me, she said yes. And Twitter brought us together. Twitter has kept us friends. And now she is one of my closest friends, and we're sharing our passion and journey for community together. We're 10 episodes in, Izzy, and I'm so proud of what we've created. It's beautiful.
Thank you, Holly. So to share with the world, so how did we start? So Holly just explained you the story, how we got connected, how the idea started to actually start our own video series. And then we also realize it's not a matter of just, all right, let's get going and record and see where it goes. No, we're both very structured. We really wanted a plan. We had an idea. We wanted our own branding, something that would really show, also show our attitudes, which you can see it's like a little bit pink and purple, which is perfectly on brand with the Scottish Summit. But of course, we also had a lot of work to do on planning and execution and so on. So I would like to give you a little bit more insights on how we have done it, and hopefully that helps you to get started or to keep on going. So we started first with multiple brainstorming sessions. So we discussed together, what's our mission? Like, what do we want to achieve with our video series? What are our goals? What are the ideas we have? So we thought, first of all, our mission, like Holly already said, is to make people laugh, right? We really want to bring a positive message across. We all know that for many people out there in the world, and particularly last year, it has not been the easiest year for all of us. Like, everybody had to change their lives. For the ones like me and Holly who love conferences, who love to be out in the field, we're now like stuck at home. We cannot travel. So how do we still reach the community? So our biggest goal was we want to be connected with the community, stay connected, and especially inform people and make them laugh. So if you're looking into starting your own podcast or your video series, make sure that you have a couple of those things ready before you start. It will make it a lot easier along the way to actually keep on going with your series. So before we actually had the kickoff of our very first episode, we worked first on our branding. So how did we create our own brand? and what are the ways you can create yours. So like I already said before, right, we have a lot of pink and purple. Those are colors that both Holly and I like. But also when you see our intro video, it's edgy, it's fun. I hope the tune sticks into your into your head. But also here, this is something that we did not do on our own. So we had ideas, we had something on our mind, but we actually had an external video creator, editor, who created the intro tune for us. So a huge thanks for helping us there. And then secondly, I would like to head over to Holly to say how she got started with the hardware and the software and everything we needed for our podcast.
Yeah, so when COVID hit, I was actually in Mexico with my family on a vacation, and I came home and was told I'm not returning back to work. And that was just crazy because I never really worked from home. So all I had was my laptop. I didn't have an office set up. I didn't have a proper mic. I had nothing, and I didn't know where to start. It felt a bit daunting because doing this series, I wanted the right lighting. I wanted the proper microphone. I really cared about making sure that this series landed well for the audience and for the guests that were on. I wanted it to look professional. And so what I do love about Microsoft is when this happened, they said, do what you need to do to set up a space. And so the first thing I did, we cleared out one of our rooms and I decorated it for what I felt was a comfortable office feel. It made me feel like when I'm coming into this room, I'm now work mode and everything else is, in the other side of the house. After I had my space set up for what I was comfortable with, then I reached out to Izzy and others on the team and said, I have no clue. What is a good mic? What is important for lighting? And of course, at the time, everybody was looking for this equipment as well. So it was a little bit difficult, but I found a mic that worked for me. I set up an office where I'm fortunate that I have natural lighting, but for those that don't have natural lighting, it was important to say, hey, here's a good ring light that you might want to consider. So things aren't too dark, they're not too bright. And also, being hardwired in, I had to reset up my entire office because I wasn't hardwired in and I kept getting bad connection, poor network. And this was all impacting what we were doing. And so between an office setup, lighting, proper mic, proper setup, we have really gone and made this very successful, in my opinion. But I will say one thing, when we talk about office setup, it's different for everyone. So if you watch our episode with Donna Sakar, you're going to find that for her, it's her closet. Her closet is her office space. So remember that whatever your space is, make it unique, make it comfortable for you, because that's most important. And Izzy, if you want to talk about our planning.
Yeah, definitely. So after we got the basic setup, then we started working on our planning. So when do we want to start? What's the sequence of our series? What are the responsibilities? What's the timeline? We really made a clear, structured planning. And so how Holly and I divided. So we have the luxury of doing this together. And I would, of course, highly recommend any person who likes teamwork, find somebody close to you, or maybe not even close to you, but with who you could run this video series or a podcast you're starting. So how we divided our responsibilities, we kind of looked at our strengths and our weaknesses. How can we help each other? How can we learn from each other? How can we get the best out of each other? And so there we divided that Holly is responsible for basically all the pre-work, getting in touch with our guests who are going to be on the show, making sure that the invites are out. So basically the logistics of setting up the online meetings. And currently we're using Microsoft Teams for all our recordings. Then, of course, we prep together, which Holly will tell you more about later, how we actually prepare for an episode. So that's like a joint responsibility. And then, of course, once we get to recording, then it's both of us on the call. We divide the questions. It's really both of us putting effort in. And then afterwards, when our recording is done, That's when I get to editing. And please note, I'm absolutely not a pro. I did not study, I did not learn anything about it. But once you get started, I will tell you more about the software we're using later. Yeah, and then once we're done with the recording and the editing and the episode is ready, then of course we quickly review together. We share the link with our guests, and then eventually we post it publicly on our YouTube channel, and that's when you get to watch our show. And then lastly, what's very important is of course our guest lineup. So Holly, please tell how we do that.
So I think to start with, I'll go back to the branding and I'll go back to the brainstorming. It's really important for us when we're choosing our guests that we think about what our messaging is. What do we want to land? How do we want our brand to be reflected in the people that we're having on as a guest? It's not a haphazard feel. It's not just a dart in the wind and whoever decides to accept the invite. It's a lot of thought between Izzy and myself. So for us, when we started, we wanted to highlight humans in technology. And so we wanted to make sure that we were giving a diverse and inclusive feel. So it's not just all women in tech, although the first three series that we're doing for 2021 is highlighting women in tech. But we really think about the diverse feel. We think about how we can be inclusive. We think about the audience that each one of the guests have. You know, can we highlight somebody and get them more of an audience? Can we showcase something that's non-techie from our tech friends? Can we think about geographic location? We don't want everybody just in the US or everybody just in EU. We want a real good, solid feel for who the guests are and what they want to land on the show. So it's not just, hey, tell us all about the awesome things that you're doing behind the scenes, but it's showcasing what's relevant for this moment in time. So we talked about how we had a really positive, but it was a tough chat. We talked about, Black Lives Matter because that was current. We have talked about how hard it is for some parents in tech to run a job and homeschool children. We have, highlighted a lot of what is current, but we're also highlighting the positive of how they're handling it and making sure that any messaging or event or comment or moment that they're working on is important to them is also showcased in our show. So there's a lot that goes behind the scenes and who the guests are and how we reach out to them and that we're respectful of their time and we make it something that's valuable for them as well.
Indeed. So so tell us a bit more, Holly, about, so once we have defined our guests, right? How do we prepare for every guest, every month, every recording that we do?
So like I ended, we want to make sure that our guests find the value in being on the show. So even though Izzy and I, have a lot of time that we do prep work and then the post work, an hour out of anyone's day is really important. That hour is special and that hour needs to end with a value add for everybody engaged. And so we take a lot of time to prepare for each guest so that we come on the show ready to go. A lot of people are a bit shocked when they find out how much behind the scenes work we've actually done to get to know who our guests are. But we want to highlight more than just what they're doing in their day-to-day job. And so there is a lot of research that goes behind the scenes before each event where we're interviewing our guests. And then we also talk about, here's the topics that we want to share and highlight, but what's the message or what's the topic that you want to share? So in order to do that, we have to prepare our guests. So we will send, for Izzy and I, we believe communication is key. So we will send our guests just kind of a prep email, basically saying, here's 3 to 4 topics that we have. What do you want to prepare and talk about? And this way, when they come live on the call, they're not shocked. They're not taken back by anything. We want to make sure that we put our best foot forward and that we highlight our guests in the best possible way.
Absolutely. So as Holly already previously mentioned, of course, looking at the topics and the stories that we want to cover with our guest, we always try to think, what is the message we want to bring across? So to start with, I would highly recommend you first think of what is important to your guest. Like, what does your guest want to have highlighted on your podcast? Is it a book they wrote? Is it a session they're going to present? Is it another achievement they're proud of? Is it a movement that they want to share? I mean, there's so much going on. Yeah, so really think of what is important to your guest to have highlighted on the show. Then secondly, of course, your or at least we are doing this video series for the community. So we try to think together, like, what is interesting for our community? What is currently important? What is currently relevant? What could help others with things that are going on right now? Like Holly already mentioned before, like homeschooling, for example, during a pandemic. We know many parents out there have never homeschooled before. They're used to their kids going to school, and suddenly they're 24/7, they're around. They need to be the parent, they need to be the math teacher. They literally have to take care of everything. So that's why we chose the topic, which we know is going to help others. And then lastly, also think of yourself. So what message do you find important? What's important to you? You will notice that often we do cover topics like, for example, women in tech or gender equality or other topics which are very important and close to heart for Holly and myself. And we also believe that if you believe in your message and in your topic, you will, of course, also show a lot more passion because it's something that, yeah, you strongly believe in yourself as well. So yeah, then after all the prep work is done, our guests are informed. Holly and I have made like our planning. Then, of course, we get to the recording. And without actually going about all the technical stuff about actual recording, I would like to hand over to Holly to share our experiences in the past 10 episodes.
So I would say for people like Izzy and I that our whole passion is community event work. And until this last year, it was all live and in person. And so we're used to being perfectionists. We're used to making sure that our guests are pleased. And when they travel to this event, they leave feeling that the money was spent, it was well worth it, the travel was worth it. And we dotted, our I's and crossed our T's on food, on logistics, on the location, on the speakers, on the videos that are being presented. And now all of that's taken away from us, and we're doing all of these events at home. And that puts in a different dynamic because now we have our entire family at home working and doing school. We have our pets. We have the trash man that comes and picks up the trash, and we can't make sure that every single thing is quiet and clean and perfect as we would like it to be. And so we have had to be okay with it not being perfect. We did one of our series where I had just gotten a puppy and the puppy started barking, and it ended up being a great teaser video. And so what we're learning is kids are going to come in, dogs are going to bark, there's going to be interruptions, and you just have to run with it. We're in this new norm where, your business meetings are not just you and your team. You have interruptions that are out of your control. And instead of being so hard on yourself, remember that we're all at home now. And if anything, it just humanizes who we all are.
Absolutely. And I believe the Scottish Summit itself is going to be a perfect example where we're going to see kids walk in, cats crawling by, dogs barking, whatever is going to happen. The postman ring the doorbell for another package coming in. So yeah, like Holly said, just embrace it and deal with the imperfections, because that's literally how it is right now. And I believe, everybody has a lot of people have understanding for that. Post-production, of course, there's also a lot of work that needs to happen. So that's where part of my responsibility kicks in. So I start with cutting and editing the videos. For that, I use the software tool Camtasia. And then after I have cut and edited everything, of course, I share it with Holly so we can also review. We check if all the links are in, everything our guest has sent. We make sure that we collect URLs they want to share, any other info they want to have in there, their Twitter handles, and so on. And only when we're both satisfied with the result, which I also want to mention, you will always, at least for us, when you look at yourself and you hear yourself, you will always hear your ums and your mwah and your imperfections. But also that is something that you really need to let go. And often there are things with which you only realize yourself, but actually the audience doesn't even hear or see. So that's another moment. Just let go of those imperfections. Yeah, so after the cut and the edit and the review, Holly and we upload our videos onto YouTube. And then from there on, that's where social media plays a very important role for sharing and promoting our videos. So the platforms that we mainly use are Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, several groups, LinkedIn and Facebook, for example, and very important, community, right? So it's not just Holly and myself. We have a lot of people out there that are very helpful, that share our content, that like our content. So yeah, also to them, I would like to say thank you. And then also for yourself, if you're looking for help, don't be afraid to ask, right? You can always reach out to community to come with tips or feedback. Yeah, and to help you share your contents.
And before you move on, I want to make one comment. Go back a minute. You have helped me understand something that is, I think, a tremendous learning tip and tool that I think we should share with our audience. One thing that Izzy has helped me to understand is that each social platform has different uses and different understanding on how you're posting and edits and deletes. And there's a whole backstory on how you're posting, what the voice should be, how many emojis to use or not, what happens if you post on LinkedIn and then you make an edit, how it can affect the algorithm and it affects, your, if you will, respect level with that social platform. And so I would say whether it's GitHub or, it doesn't have to be one of these platforms, but whatever your platform of choice is, make sure that you understand the back end of how to use it. That was a huge gift that you've shared with me, Izzy, and I want to share it with the audience listening.
Yeah.
Okay, imposter? Nope. Whether you're thinking of doing a video series or a podcast, or maybe it's something technical, you want to write, you learn how to write blogs, or you want to share something that you've coded on GitHub. It could be any. We're talking about our video series, but whatever your idea is, it's important, it's valuable, and we all have heard of this imposter syndrome. It's real. And whether it's, do I have the right setup, or, does my message is important to other people? It is important. And I would say, just do it. The worst thing that can happen is you do it and you learn and you find that, oh my goodness, there's so many other people out there that are finding the value. I personally work with very intelligent people that I have an imposter syndrome every single day. When I log in with Izzy to do our recordings, I always worry, is my equipment going to work? Is my dog going to bark? Are my kids going to barge in? Am I going to say too many ums? Am I going to have too many mannerisms that aren't landing well? And I think we all deal with it, whether, it's learning to code or writing a book. But I would say every single video series that we have done, we have enjoyed it because we're passionate about it. We have learned something from every guest. We've taught each other different skills. And so I would say for a lot of people that have reached out to us in the community and said, I'm scared to write this blog, I'm worried about coding, I'm worried about starting my own video series. There's so many out there. And I would say, if you're passionate about it, go do it. Do it for yourself, mature each time you do it, you learn something. And also remember that if you think about your brand and you make sure that it's strong and it's your passion and you continue with that brand, your messaging will land no matter what it is. And I would encourage everybody out there who has a passion or has this feeling that they want to try something new, go do it.
Thanks, Holly, for the inspiration. You almost inspire me to start something new. No, just kidding. So yeah, so we have shared some of our insights, some of the ways that we are hosting our video series. And of course, there are many things that also we have learned and still are learning along the way. So we would just like to share our top 3 tips. So Holly, I'll quickly start. Most important, which you and I have every time we record,
Yes.
we have fun. We literally have fun, and not just the half an hour or the hour that we are recording. Our fun starts way before that, and also after that, we're like continuously connected about the podcast. And I believe it's so important that you have the passion, have the fun, and yeah, that you very much look forward to your next recording. Then secondly, what for me was very important is indeed to have the right setup. Do we have right microphones? And especially now everybody is like upping their game, if I can say it that way. Really focusing more on better lighting, better cameras, microphones. So yeah, if you have the budget and you have the time, then of course I would highly recommend that if you're going to start a video series or a podcast, to make sure that you have the right equipment. It will also make you feel a lot more confident and also comfortable if your setup is correct. And then third tip I would like to give you is prepare yourself for every show. So no matter how often you have done it before, how experienced you are, it's really, for us, very important that we don't just, schedule a date, schedule a guest, we show up live and we'll just figure out what we're going to do. No, that's not how it works for us. For us, it's really lots of preparation. So I would, definitely recommend you as well. Make sure that you prep well. That will really make it a lot easier on the moment you actually get to recording. So yeah, let's head over to Holly and the tips that she would like to share with you.
So one, I've already run this one into the ground, but just remember, whatever it is, it's your passion, run with it. If it makes your heart happy, go do it. And the other is, your voice is important. For the longest time, being someone non-technical in a tech environment, I was very intimidated. And then I realized we all come with strengths. We all come with passions. We all come with something unique and valuable. And so just remember, share your voice. Somebody else absolutely needs to hear it. Be unique. One thing that we've been told is that our questions are very unique from what most podcast or video series are. So share your voice, be unique, keep your brand. And the other is don't stop learning how to make improvements. With each video we do, we encourage each other to, work harder, learn from each event that we've done, and how can we be different and unique, and what can we change and better and improve for the next series. And like Izzy said, go have fun. A lot of our day-to-day work and career and responsibilities, I can't say they're always fun, but if you have a passion, go have fun with it.
Absolutely. So, we have told you about our show, Head in the Cloud, Heart in the Community. And if we triggered you and your interest, then Holly will tell you more where to find us, about our previous episode. Holly, take it away.
Well, one thing we've done is bring people on our virtual journey with us, and we do not want to stop now. So please find us and subscribe to our show. We would love to have more of you joining us and laughing and sharing other people's story and journey with you. You can find us on YouTube at Head in the Cloud, Heart in the Community. I will say the one thing we didn't talk about yet that's important, a lot of people ask questions about how did you start your career? And that is one thing we do talk about on the show. So we talk about career, we talk about inspiration, aspiration, passion, and little side hustles that everybody's doing. People like Miri Rodriguez, who just released her book that is now a top seller. We think about Lisa Clark, who we'll get to soon, and her inspiration and her story. Dux, we all know Dux and his passion for being kind and sharing how important a brand is. If everybody wants to know about the story behind Thready, our Microsoft Dino, he shares his story with his daughter. It is the sweetest story. We have Stephen Rose, who reminds us, why mentorship is so important. And we all know Donna Sakar. Not only is she whimsical and intelligent, but she has a fashion line that is booming, and the ethics behind it all. We could keep going. We had a whole panel talking about, Steve Buchanan, Donna Ryan, and Peter talking about their journey with, working from home and managing kids in school. It's a lot, but LA brings the passion of Intune and how powerful Intune has allowed us to keep our kids safe in this crazy world.
And then another tip, which I would really love to share. So speaking of women in tech, of other podcasts out there, which also recently added a video cast to the podcast, is the Scottish star Lisa Clark. So she has been on one of our shows. Both Holly and I have been on her show. She's an amazing friend of ours, and we have a lot of fun with Lisa. We have a lot of respect for Lisa. So yeah, I just want to highlight, check out her podcast, Lisa at the Edge. She does amazing episodes of over an hour talking about tech, career, hybrid cloud, and a lot more topics. So if you're looking for another podcast to follow, definitely check out Lisa Clark at Lisa at the Edge.
And like I said, join us, follow us. You can watch our episodes on YouTube, but follow our journey. We have a lot of fun connecting with our audience on Twitter. So you can find me at Lehman __ Holly, and you have Izzy to follow as well. So join us, like us. It's been a wonderful, and we're so thankful to be a part of this with you all.
Absolutely. And of course, also on both our social media channels, mainly on Twitter, we also announce whenever a new episode is coming up, teasers, as well as we also share our personal lives, our careers, other activities that are going on. So hope to see you on socials.
And again, to everybody at the Scottish Summit, thank you for having us. Again, like Izzy said, follow us on all social platforms. Remember to use hashtag Scottish Summit 2021. To all the audience members that took the time to hear our story and our journey, thank you so much for allowing us to share it with you, and enjoy the rest of the summit. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks everybody from wherever in the world you're joining our session. We hope we inspired you. We hope our tips helped you, and like Holly said, feel free also to reach out to us anytime if there's anything we can do to help you kick off, to help you get going, and we're always happy to connect with the community. So speaking of community, I want to do a special shout out to the organizers of the Scottish Summit. I'm sure they have their hands full with managing everything around the event, from speakers to sponsors to agenda. I mean, both Holly and I know what it's like to organize events from the beginning until the very end. And therefore, there are also a bunch of volunteers who are involved. So yeah, a huge thank you to the organizers for pivoting their event from an actual in-person event to online, making it accessible for everybody around the world. And a special shout out to all the volunteers who are helping out in their free time to make this a success. So with that, thank you, everyone. Wish you a nice day, evening, night. Depends, of course, where in the world you are. And we hope to see you again next time. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.